Hey guys. Hey Manny, how are you? Johnny, Rick, how are you? Let's see, who else do we have here? Oh, Carrie. Oh, you still awake? What time is it tonight? By the way, Carrie, congratulations. You should do technical analysis. It seems like you picked two really good ones with Crow and VGX. Good job, good job. AC Money, what's up? I'm good. How about yourself? Twix. Amen Sharma. Hi, how are you? Manny, I'm doing really well. Arthur Munoz, good evening. Summer, hello from Tim and Summer from Wisconsin. Hey, how you guys doing? Johnny Jackson. Oh, I'm doing really good. Thank you. How about you? Lawrence. Hey, how are you? Alessandro. So how's you guys doing? It's quiet tonight. There's not many people online, huh? Make sure you guys click that like button, okay? I appreciate that. Well, I think what I'm going to talk about first is probably about Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin is having some problem right now, and there are certain things that I don't like, so I want to share with you guys. And then I also want to talk about like a few coins that I think that has a lot of potential. Obviously, Cellular Network is one of them, and then the Metaverse coins like the Sandbox has been doing really well, and I think the Central Land is ready to pop, so that's a good thing. Uh, then I also want to go briefly over some of the blockchain projects that has been doing well, but I'm kind of like afraid that we may see some retracement in the near term, specifically Polkadot. I think there's a possibility that Polkadot may drop down to about like the 35 or even lower. So I'll probably go over that really quickly. And obviously, I think AVAX, I believe that AVAX is pretty much done with this really nice run up in price. I mean, it ran from about $50 all the way to 146. So I expect to see AVAX starting to give back. I mean, it's going to cool off, and likely, I would say within the next couple of weeks or so, would be trading at below 100. And my target to accumulate AVAC is probably below $90. So I'll go over that. Mana is a wonderful project. What I like about Mana is, I mean, early today, it ran all the way to like $20, and then it's retraced. So far, when you look at Mana, it seems like right now it is trying to establish $4 as the baseline right now. I mean, so there's a lot of like back and forth. I mean, the buyer want to push the price to $4 and above, while the seller is trying to keep it down. But so far, I mean, if you look at this trend, every time when you see mana retrace, it bounce right back up. When you look at this, I mean, this is I'm looking at like the 15 minutes chart here. Look at like all of this like low high. So when you kind of like draw this trend line, you just connect this point here. I mean, you got a very, very nice, I don't know if you can see this or not, a very nice upward channel right now. There it is. I mean, this is what we're looking at. This is, and mana pretty much trending up. And every time when you see the price retrace, it bounced right back up. I mean, even during the time when Bitcoin is down, you still seeing. I mean, very strong right now. One of the thing, one of the thing is this here. I mean, when you look at mana has been in consolidation for so long. When you look at this chart, I mean, this thing has been kind of like in dormant from April all the way until the end of October. April, May, June, July, August, September. I mean, that's 6 months. So the longer it takes for this thing to consolidate, the more momentum it would build. And that's why, I mean, we've seen this like the first wave. Now it is setting up for the second wave right now. We've seen the same thing with like the sandbox. The sandbox, I love the sandbox. The reason that I haven't accumulated the sandbox yet, because right now the sandbox is already in the second wave. And when you look at the second wave so far, I mean, it's already ran up. Let's see here. And by the way, I was working on a video about the sandbox. Hopefully, I would have it done by tomorrow, and I'll upload that. I mean, this is a great project. Uh, it is already up by about 1.61 time. I mean, from this high here, and it could go as high as 2. I think. Let's see here. At about 2, you look at about like 6.3. Momentum may take it to about 7. But after that, I do expect it to retrace. I mean, nothing goes up forever. So what I'm probably going to do is wait until this thing retraces, probably around like middle of December before I start to accumulate this guy. I definitely want to have both the sandbox and the central land in my portfolio. I mean, right now I am aggressively loading up on mana. Like I told you guys last time when we were live, for me right now, anything that is less than $5 is good for me. So I've been accumulating, and earlier yesterday, I mean, and today I was able to get some at a below $4. So I'm really happy. And when you look at mana, I mean, this thing is definitely it is in getting ready to move up. I mean, the second wave is here. The only problem we have right now is still Bitcoin, and when Bitcoin retrace, it caused the entire all of the altcoin to kind of like retrace with Bitcoin. But the minute Bitcoin stabilize, good project that is ready to run tend to spike up a lot. I mean, just like today, looking at look at Cellular Network. Right now, Cellular Network is right now is up over 5%. See, the minute Bitcoin stabilize, you will see Cellular move up 10, 20, 30%. And so if you watch the video I uploaded today, Cellular right now is definitely. I mean, it's going to run up. The downside is very limited, while the upside potential, I mean, I see is like at least 2 times as part of this run up here. See, right now it's almost like 5.6%. Johnny Jackson. Well, I don't know about 1,000 though. I mean, I would love to see that happen, but I have to find out what sort of market cap we're talking about. In 5 to 10 years, wow. I mean, right now the market cap is only about 6 billion. I think Mana can easily get to about 100 billion in 3 to 5 years, or maybe even. I mean, and you guys know me by now. I am conservative, realist. So let's say even at like 100 million divided by six, that is about 16 times. 16 time the price that it is right now, which is let's see what it is right now at $4. That's about $66. Um, so maybe like $100. It's possible $100. That probably put it. Let's say the market cap at $100, probably around like 170 billion, or never know. I mean, it could go up a lot higher, but 1,000, that is going to be hard. I would love to see it get to that, but I don't think it's going to be possible. I mean, when you look at 1,000, you look at the market cap in the trillion. Johnny, I agree. I mean, it's going to be big, but the point is, it's hard to get the market cap up to 1 trillion. It is hard. Chua, hi, how are you? So right now, for me, I mean, I am obviously I am very gung ho on Mana as well as the Sandbox, but like I said, I have not accumulated the Sandbox yet because I don't like to chase after the bull. And right now, the Sandbox is already in the second wave. So the upside, I mean, I don't know how much more it has. I think the most maybe to about $7 as part of this run, and then we will see this retracement and consolidations before it could run up again. So I'll wait. I'll just patiently wait for this thing to cool off, retrace, and once I see it's ready to kind of like, I mean, once it find the bottom, that's when I will definitely go in and accumulate the Sandbox. But this is a really good project as well. I've been following this guy. All right. Um, I'll go over Dogecoin in a little bit. But let me quickly go over like Bitcoin here. One of my biggest concern about Bitcoin right now is this. First of all, when you look at Bitcoin in this like 4 hour chart, there is a good possibility that we may see like this double bottom. All right. And if Bitcoin can bounce up from here, the key is this. Let's switch over to the 1 day chart. This is the most important thing. There is a very good probability that we will see the price bounce up. Why? Because obviously we look at the potential, this is a double bottom. On top of that, we are looking at Bitcoin right now is entering this weight oversold. But the problem I see is this. Right now, this is a very bearish signal right here, which is the 10 days cross over and drop below the 50 days. Unless Bitcoin can get some sort of like buying support and continue to trend up and then trade over the 50 days, that would be right at around the 62,000 and stabilize over that. That would allow the 10-day to slowly reverse direction and then reclaim and basically cross over and stay above the 50 days, then we are out of trouble. But right now, the way I see this is this. Definitely, we are looking at the potential for Bitcoin. I mean, if it get rejected at the 10 days moving average or the 50 days, we are looking at the potential for Bitcoin to drop down to about 50,000 level. So that is something to be concerned about. Because here, I mean, when you look at like these moving averages, the last time when this happened, when the 10-day crossover and dropped below the 50 days, that was around like the middle of September. And after that, you see the price drop and then retested the support of this upward channel. And then we were lucky enough that Bitcoin found support right at the support line here and bounced up. Okay? And then if you look at the past, now this is around mid of April and then around the first week in May. Whenever you see the 10 days change direction, trending downward, and drop below the 50-day, I mean, that is a cause for trouble. Let me show you an example. Quan has always been a very, very strong project. When you look at Quan, it ran from about like 25 bucks all the way to 430. All those times you see the 10-day continue to stay above the 50 days. Every time when it's changed direction, and then we think that it may cross over and drop below the 50 days, the price runs up and then it reverses direction. Now, then we see this here, the crossover, right at around like the middle of October. And in one of the video I did about Quan, I specifically said that I am really concerned about this because this is a bearish signal. If Quan does not, trade up so that the 10 days can reverse direction, then we run a serious risk of the price continue to retrace. And after that, this is what you see here. The price continue to drift lower and lower and lower. So that is what I am worried about Bitcoin. And the problem is, if Bitcoin retraces, it dragged everything down with it. And right now, we are in this scenario right now. Polkadot is a great project. I love Polkadot. But Polkadot is showing the same. It is showing me that right now there is a very good probability that Polkadot would kind of like trading sideways but trend lower. There's a chance that Polkadot may retest the support line. And then we're looking at the possibility of Polkadot dropping below 35 bucks. Unless we see some sort of like change that the price spike up. The key is the 10 days has to cross over and trade over the 50 days. I mean, you can look at almost any chart. Example, right at this point, I mean, this is Polkadot here. The 10-day was reversing direction. Just when it about to cross over and drop below the 50-day, we see this major buying support. The price spike up, and then the 10 days reverse direction and trend up. After that, we saw Polkadot on this really nice bull run. But now, Polkadot is showing sign that it could, I mean, there could potentially be more retracement. So this is another one that I'm concerned about. I mean, I love Polkadot, but hey, if Polkadot retrace, I would just accumulate more because it will bounce. I mean, this is just temporarily. Because when you look at this here, I mean, Polkadot spiked up so much. It's been trending up, following this upward channel. Ran up from about like, I mean, what is it, like $10 all the way to $57. So far, if you look at like part of this retracement here, retraced by about 50%, and it would based on this here, it is a little over 50%. It's about 61.8%. So right now, I mean, I love Polkadot, but I'm not buying Polkadot right now. I'm just gonna wait until I see the signal here. I mean, crossover. Otherwise, as long as the 10-day is trading below the 50 days, you are running into the risk for a lot more selling pressure. Yeah, I mean, Polkadot looks like it is oversold, but as long as you have this sort of like signal, there is still that potential for the price to retrace even more. Hey, Ivan, thank you, thank you. All right, Cellular Network. Cellular Network. I mean, everything I see right now is Cellular is gonna power up big time. Um, when Bitcoin dropped today, Cellular dropped. The minute it tested the 50 days moving average, I mean, it bounced right back up. And now Bitcoin seems to stabilize a little bit. Cellular is running up. I mean, right now it's up 5%. So and it's trading over my target price right now at 13.5 cents. I mean, when you look at Cellular right now, it is trading above both the 10 days and the 50 days. And now, if you look at the 10 days, you see it is reversing direction right now. So it's just a matter of another like couple of days. You're going to see the 10 days cross over the 50 days. And remember, right now, Seller is still in this golden cross and having the 10 days basically trading over the 50 day. I mean, that is an indication that the price is heading up. Volume also pick up as well. I mean, so this is a no-brainer, guys. This is definitely a no-brainer. I mean, if Bitcoin stabilize, I expect to see Cellular Network at 20 cents or even higher soon. I'm gonna grab something to drink. I'll be right back in a minute. All right. So, all right. I promise, Chua, that I will talk about. I mean, you asked the questions about like, hey, right now what is like you holding Doge or something else at a loss right now, and all right, let me see if I can address that. Just give me 1 second here. Yeah, just give me 1 second here. All right. First thing is this here. You know by now that I'm not supposed to kind of like giving out advice. So I will answer your question in a way that, let's say, if I were you, what would I do? All right? But just remember, I am not a financial advisor. I don't have a certificate about that. I am just a one of those like YouTuber, or pretend to be a YouTuber. Here's the thing. Let's say, wow, average down, is that a good thing? My answer is yes and no. Yes, if we can guarantee that the price of whatever crypto that you are buying would eventually bounce up. That is a yes, because if you average it out, then the price goes up. Then you will make a lot more money. But at the same time, what if the crypto that you're looking at continue to stay stagnant or even trend lower? That's what happened is, I mean, you continue to pour money into something that would never give you that sort of return. So that is the very important thing. All right. Now, let's look at those. For me right now, those would likely continue to trade sideways for a while based on what I see on this chart. And I would recommend you to go to the latest video that I uploaded about those like 3 or 4 days ago, in which I went through this detailed analysis. So, is there a possibility for those to break down? Yes, certainly. Because right now it is inside this symmetrical triangle. It tried to break out. It get rejected. Absolutely no value at all. So is there a possibility that we could see those trading at this lower? There is. I mean, I want to be honest with everybody. That's definitely. Okay. So that is something you have to consider as well. The second thing is this here. Before any of this thing can start, let's say, a new bull run, the key is what? The 10 days has to trade over the 50 days. I talk about that all the time. And you can refer back to like any chart. You're not going to see a major run up in price until this happens. So right now, Doge is having this problem right now, which is 10-day, it's trending below the 50 days. So there is a potential. I mean, one thing about Doge is it's really unpredictable. It could be tonight that the whale decide to pump it. So tomorrow morning, when we wake up, we may see those bounce up. I mean, that could be. But I am just answering based on what I see on this chart. Normally, you are not going to see a major spike up until the 10-day lead the 50 days. I mean, you can see all this here, all this trending down. You see some sort of spike up, but it's not going to happen until this here, the 10-day crossover. And normally for me, this is like an all in buy signal here. Okay. So to answer your question, let's say if I were you, and just like I said before, don't take my advice, okay? I mean, you gotta do your due diligence and think about it. Let's say if I cannot stand this anymore because I just happened to buy at, let's say, at 32 cents. And right now I am down like almost 50% here. Being able to analyze the chart. And let's say I am betting on the fact that nothing's going to happen until the price trade right at this apex here. And right at the apex is probably around like sometime in December or the first week in December. So knowing that the probability for a major spike up in price for Dogecoin from now until, let's say, the end of this month is very low. It could happen. It could happen tonight. It could happen tomorrow. But the chart is telling me there is no value. So absolutely, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. We will continue to see those move up 2% and then down 2%. Up 1%, down 2%. It will continue to be like this. So what I would do is this. Well, I look at a possible project. I mean, for me right now, I love Dogecoin. But I don't think that Dogecoin is going to run up until the price at least get to around here, which is minimum is 25 cents. It has to trade over 25 cents in order to be able to trade over both of these moving averages. And once it stabilizes over that, then I can feel comfortable that there is a good possibility this guy would spike up. All right. So what I would do, I mean, this is what I would do. I would look at a project that I know that is on the verge of spiking up. Example, I would look at something like Cellular Network right now. Looking at Cellular Network, it's broke out of the resistance of this bull flag. So far, it is showing me that it's trading over both the 10-day and the 50 days. This seemed like a very good baseline. What I would do is, I would say, well, given the fact that based on the way I look at the chart, the probability for those to run up within the next, let's say, week is low. But there's a potential, I mean, there's a good probability that this thing might spike up. I mean, within the next few days, it could be trading at like 20 cents. And so let's say if I take some off the table and put into something like this in 5 days, and assuming if I'm right, let's say Cellular trade at 20 cents, I could make up for the losses. And then the minute when I see the price of my favorite crypto, which is Dogecoin, slowly bouncing up, and the minute it hit my target price, which is around 25 cents, then I'll jump back and buy it in, because at that point, there is a high degree of confidence that this thing could move up from this point. So I'm answering you pretty much based on how I would do it. And the chart is telling me that's what it is. Otherwise, the thing about like continue to buy something that give you headache because the price is not moving, even though you love Dogecoin. It, I don't think that's a good thing, unless you feel that well, there's no doubt in my mind. So, example, okay, let's say for me, I wouldn't buy at this point, but I would buy at around this point. So, but like I said before, I mean, you have to do your own due diligence because the last thing I want to see something happen is, let's say, you follow something that I said, and then the next day those spike up to about like 26 cents. Then you're gonna hate my gut. So that's what I would do because I can always get back into the sky. Sure, that's the thing. One of the thing, to be honest, I love Dogecoin, but I'm really frustrated at Dogecoin because of this year. It seems like Dogecoin can only move up whenever we have like Elon tweet or something like that. I mean, those only go up based on pure hype. And that is the problem I have with Dogecoin. And that's why I'm starting to move a lot of my money from these type of like meme coin to real projects that can spike up based on the adoption rate. Cellular Network, I mean, Avalanche, Polkadot, all of those projects does not need a tweet from Elon in order for it to move up. And reality is what? Reality is like the market cap for those right now is already over 30 billion. I mean, I said this all the time. When you have a meme project and when the market cap had hit like 30 billion, it's a lot harder to move up after that. And that is the same thing we are seeing with Shiba right now. Shiba spike up a lot, but remember, it is getting to the point where the market cap is very high. So the last time I did a video about Shiba, I think like a week or 2 weeks ago, I said, don't expect to see Shiba go anywhere. I mean, this thing is going to be kind of like staying like this for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks. It's already spiked up a lot. It will go through this consolidation again. And that's why I haven't do any update on Shiba. Because if you watch the last video that I did, let me go back to my channel here. The last time I did an analysis for Shiba was 9 days ago, right? If you watch this video, I can tell you that Shiba is behaving exactly like how I said it would be. On top of that, now you're looking at this potential for like the 10-day, the red line, the 10-day, to intersect and drop below the 50 days. When that happens, most likely you're going to see more retracement. So I don't expect to see Shiba, I mean, spike up. Um, oh no, Johnny Jackson. I am not saying that anybody should sell the Dogecoin. I am just kind of like providing an alternative way of looking at that. You could be right. I mean, so and that's why I said one thing about Doge is it's very unpredictable. So the same thing with Shiba. I mean, if you follow me, when Shiba ran up to about point 6 and up, I said take some profit because it would drop. I mean, there's no doubt about it. We always see this repeat itself. So now, I mean, if we have this thing drop below the 50 days, there's always a chance that we could see it retrace all the way down to this point here before we could see it bounce up. Okay. And just like AVAX. I mean, when you look at AVAX here, it's run up like crazy. And obviously, everybody is talking about AVAX going to 200. In time, it will. Maybe 2 months from now, it could be trading at 200. But in the near term, within the next, let's say 1, 2, or 3 weeks, I expect this thing to retrace and consolidate because it has to do that. Nothing goes up vertically. Why? Because you have people, trader, buying when the price was low. They're going to sell. I don't care if we are like hodler or, I mean, we retail investor, we can hold it forever. But those guys, they are in the game to make money. So they're going to dump. And when they dump, you're going to see this drop. And that's why, I mean, I talk about like the 50-50 strategy. I've been using that. Even with AVAX. I saw AVAX, I mean, around this here. Now I'm just going to sit and wait. The minute it dropped to my target price around this area here, all the money that I saw, less short-term capital gain tax, I'll buy all that back into AVAX. My goal is like all of my cryptos. I want to increase the number of tokens that I have without having to spend any additional money on it. And so far, the strategy seems to be working really well. I mean, Solana, same thing with Solana. I was aggressively accumulating Solana up until 160. I mean, you guys watch my video. You know, I said like when Solana was trading like this here. I mean, when it was dropping down to about like 120, 130, I said my target to accumulate is to 160. So I was accumulating. And then when it spiked up, I took 50% off at this point. And I still haven't buy back yet because when I look at the chart for Bitcoin, there's still a chance that Solana would even drop further. Then when it hit my target price, I would go all back in. I mean, even with a great project like this, it goes like this. That's why the 50-50 strategy so far, it works out really well for me. And even with like something like Cellular Network, I mean, we see Cellular Network spike up like this from 2 cents to 20 cents. I mean, when it at 20 cents, everybody was saying that, oh man, this thing would run up to $1. But no, it's not. It has to retrace. That's what it did. And the funny thing is, when it was retracing, I remember like a couple of days ago, I did a video about Cellular Network. That's when I saw like the buy signal here. I got comments like, Cellular is a shit coin. Are you stupid or what to recommend Cellular Network? I just don't understand. And what I found out is that person bought like 3 grand when it was like at this price. And then when the price retraced, he think that this is a shit coin. I mean, that's the thing. Never chase after anything when it's run up. Just be patient enough to wait for it to retrace. Now is the time to buy. and then this thing is going to go to 40 cents. When it go to 40 cents, I'll take my 50% off. I use crypto.com to buy Seller. Frank, what do you mean by no more all and put action? Oh yeah, I mean, I am actively buying Cellular Network right now because right now Cell is trading over my target price when it was below this. I mean, see, that's why you have to watch a video I uploaded a couple of days ago. Here's the thing: when the price is low like this, it's not really the buy signal. It's more like accumulating signal. So I accumulate a little bit at a time. Why? Because, like I said, as long as the 10 day is trading below the 50 days, you are always at risk of the price could trend even lower. Whenever the 10-day crossover and stay over the 50 days, then the probability for the price to break down is much lower. Let me give you an example. All right. Back around the April, mid of April here, the 10 days dropped below the 50 days. See that? So when the price retraces like this, we might think that, hey, this is the bottom because the price spiked up. But as long as the 10 days continue to trail the 50 day, which is the red line here, trail the white line, there is always a chance for the price continue to dip. That's what we see. Even after we see this like major spike up in price, but the 10 day still trail the 50 day. That's why there wasn't enough buying support to allow this run up. So the price get rejected and it retraced. But let's look at this point here. The minute the 10-day crossover and lead the 50 days, you see the price run up. Even when it retraces, you know the buyer would step in. There it is. They push it up. So the probability for breakdown is very low. But as long as the 10 days trail the 50 days, you will have this. So let's say when I look at this here, I see a spike up. I accumulate. When I accumulate a little at a time. But when I see the 10-day cross over the 50-day, that's when I buy heavy because I know the probability for the run up is much greater than the potential for a breakdown in price. So right now, I continue to accumulate seller because right now the 10-day is still trading below, even though it is reversing direction. There is still a chance that the price could trade lower, but the minute the 10-day cross over and lead the 50-day, that's when I go in and I start buying a lot more. And if you watch my video, 15 cents is my max. So right now I continue to accumulate until it gets to about 15 cents. So that is really the secret. I mean, there's two indicators that is extremely important. It's the 10 days and the 50 days. This is the 10 day. This is the 50 day. Whenever the 10 day is trailing the 50 days, expect the price to retrace. The minute you see this crossover, then buy, buy, buy. I mean, that's what it is. Just buy around here and set a target max and then just sit and wait. I mean, I can go over any chart right now and I can tell you, I mean, it's 100% accurate. Let's look at ADA. You see, ADA was spiking up like crazy, ran to 330, and then the price retraced. See, the minute the red line, the 10 days dropped below the 50-day, you see it dropped. Is it bottom yet? No, because as long as the 10-day is trailing the 50-day, there is still selling pressure. There, you see, it continued dipping. That is a good example, right? Look at another one. I mean, look at, I don't know, Anchor. Same thing. 10-day drop below the 50-day. As you can see, as long as the 10-day trailing the 50-day, price continue to retrace. The minute when there's a crossover, price spike up. The minute it dropped below, then you see the price retrace. Tracy McGarry, I am sorry. What do you have on your portfolio? Just give it some time. I mean, that's one thing about crypto is it bounces up and down. Oh, Frank, Faraday Future. The price right now, I mean, it will bounce. I still have Faraday. I mean, that's a long term for me. I trade the options, but I also have some because Faraday. I think they begin production around like the first quarter of 2022. I believe that is the case. So just kind of like hang tight. Okay. Adam, those Bollinger Band usually follow what 10-day and 50-day averages. Here's the thing. Yes. Okay. I mean, you look at. All right. Let's see if we can find a good example here. I think the best one to look at is maybe Dogecoin. You know? Solana. Solana is a good one to look at. All right. The way I look at the Bollinger Band is what? The Bollinger Band basically it tell me whether or not, let's say like Solana, whether or not Solana is ready for a major either spike up or breakdown. That is when the Bollinger Band get to the point where the width of the band get very tight. Here is why, I mean, when we see this spike up, the 10-day, it was trailing, it was trending down. Then right after that, we see the 10 days reverse direction and trend up. At the same time, the Bollinger Band, at this point, the width of the band is very tight and it started to expand. This is a very clear signal that we are looking at a bull run. That is normally when I go in and I buy heavy because the 10 day is already trading over the 50 days. And every time when you see the price kind of like ride the upper band of the Bollinger Band, expect the price to spike up. And when do I think that the price is ready to retrace? Normally, when the band starting to get overextended, I mean, just like here, it's overextended. The classic case is when you start seeing the price trade over the top of the upper band like this. Example, AVAX is a really good example. When you look at Avalanche, the Bollinger Band, the width is way overextended there. I mean, it's way overextended. On top of that, the price is trading over the upper band of this Bollinger Band. I mean, to me, this is way overheated. And then if I were to kind of like, I mean, do a quick check, I mean, Fibonacci retracement check. When this here, when this run up, retrace, run up, retrace, an average kind of like extension I see here is about like, I mean, 1.5 times. And now, I mean, I'm looking at this run up here. It is like over 2.2 times. It is way, way overextended. That's why for me right now, there's no way that I would go in and buy this thing because this thing is ready to retrace. And that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, look at this candle here. It's starting to show that it's running out of steam right now. Avalanche has always been spiking up every time, even when Bitcoin was trading lower. Today, right now, Bitcoin is up over 1%, and Avalanche is starting to trend downward. So, I mean, that's what it is. Oh, the other channel, I'm going to be uploading that very soon. I've just been so busy with this channel right now. Now, I mean, go back to Dogecoin. Yes, I mean, I still believe that there's going to be a pump probably like the middle or near the end of December. Why? Because I think one of the biggest catalysts relating to Dogecoin is the SpaceX Doge One project. And that is scheduled for like the first quarter of 2022. So I do believe that we will see a pump after that. I don't think the Doge is dead. I mean, it's just like it's been trading sideways. It could be that like the and another thing about Dogecoin is Dogecoin needs wells in order to pump the price up. I don't believe retail investor has the ability to have any sort of like real impact to the price of Dogecoin. And if we look at the chart, every time when those spike up, that most likely is, I mean, it's pumped by the wells, and I think that is going to happen. So, so that would be a major catalyst. What's really disappointed is like with Robinhood wallets and all that stuff, it is still not doing much to the price of Dogecoin, and that's why I said, I mean, Doge is right now it's going to be trading sideways until maybe like the first week in December. We could see some action after that. Anchor, I mean, is another project that I think it's sending out its buy signal right now for me, or more like accumulate. Anchor is, I believe, it's going to run. Definitely, I mean, it's look prime. Um, yeah, I mean, if those trading at 40 or 50 cents, I mean, that would be good. Let's see what else here. Yeah, Bitcoin is getting some traction. It's recovering right now. But like I said earlier, the key here is when it tests the 10 days. I mean, if there's a rejection at the 10 days, which is I think is very likely given the fact that we see this bearish signal. If a rejection at the 10 days moving average, my money is on Bitcoin would drop and even drop below the 55,000. I mean, that was my initial target, and it dropped to about 55.6. But we could see Bitcoin at 50,000. Polkadot is a good project. I mean, I would love to see this retrace a little bit more so I can accumulate. But I think it will. I mean, given the fact, again, I mean, this is a very bearish signal right now. I think those will definitely go above 25. I, I believe that when they ready to run the price up, those would likely hit 55 cents. Yes, I mean, I think that those would, my target is still 55 cents. But right now, see, the problem is like, I'm not sure what's going on, but there's no volume. And when you don't have volume, you don't have that sort of like major spike up. So it could be that it's still in consolidation. And I mean, if we look at the chart, that's what it is. It is still consolidating within this symmetrical triangle. NKN is still looking all right. I mean, see, the problem is all these guys here, all these guys retreat when Bitcoin retreats. But the minute Bitcoin stabilize, I do expect to see projects like NKN would spike up. Right now, when you look at NKN, it's still in this like golden cross, and the 10-day is still trading over the 50-day and the 200-day. So, and right now, NKN is just in this oversold. So if Bitcoin stabilize, I expect NKN to make this bounce up. I'll do a detailed analysis for NKN probably tomorrow, and the sandbox. I'll do this one as well. Maybe do a quick update for VChange. Solana, I haven't do Solana for a long time, and I'll do one for Quant as well. I think Quant is pretty much, hitting bottom right now. Quant is good to accumulate. It's way oversold, and there is only I believe like 5 million coins, so it is very limited. So the minute this thing power, we've seen this here. It ran up from at the beginning of the year, it was trading at like 20, $30, from $30 to like 429. What do I think about Gala? Gala been running up a lot as well. It's part of this like Metaverse thing. Um, it been Man, it ran up a lot. And if I look at the chart, it's definitely it's way overextended right now. But the hype is with this type of projects right now. With Mana, with the Sandbox, with Engine Coin, with Gala. So there is still, a chance that this thing could run even further. But yeah, when it was trading at about 40 cents, I thought it would kind of like slow down, but it continued to trend up. Another coins that I think that I'm wrong on is crypto, the crow. I think like Carrie, she picked this one out. When it was trading at about like 60 cents, I thought that that would be it, and we would likely see some sort of like retracement and consolidation. So far, it's still running up. You see, like from 10 cents all the way to 80 cents. It's crazy. Jippers, if you're making 150%, hey, never look back, man, because if we can foresee the future, we all like billionaires by now. Um, but you can always make that sort of money again with, I believe, right now I'm very gung ho with Mana right now, Decentraland. I think Decentraland is just like setting up. The minute it stabilized over 4 cents, no, $4, and so far it's been trying to do that. Let's look at Decentraland on this like 15 minutes here. This line here, which is like right at $4, it's been trying, and I think it will. It's trending up here, so it will eventually kind of like get over the $4, and then $4 would be the base. And now It is definitely, setting up the second wave. So I am just patiently, accumulating this guy. Hopefully, he's not going to prove me wrong. But I do expect him to run up. And the range is between like 750 to $12. And I also love the sandbox. And I said this before. I feel like I keep on repeating this, but I'm kind of like late into the game because when I started looking at the sandbox, it was already crossed over this all-time high at 340. I think it was trading around this tier, and one of my and it was already in the second wave. And one of my rule is doesn't matter how much I love a project, never chase after it. So right now I'm just patiently wait for the second wave to kind of like end, and then once it end, this thing will retrace, and at that point I will know what is the best price to go in. But I'll definitely will have the sandbox and in my portfolio. But when you look at like Decentraland, every time when it's retraced, the minute that it tests the 10 days moving average here, it bounce right up. See this? Bounce right up. Drop below, bounce up. All right, I'll take a quick look at Ethereum Classics here. Earlier this year, around the May timeframe, I like Ethereum Classic, but that was back then. Why? Because Ethereum Classic is like a twin of Ethereum. That's what it is. It's a lot cheaper than Ethereum. But the problem with Ethereum Classic right now, I believe, is almost like being quote unquote the forgotten project. Especially now when you look at like newer blockchains like AVAX, Polkadot, Solana, all those guys getting all the attentions, and nobody is talking about Ethereum Classic anymore. And that is one of the problems I see. That is the reason why the price hasn't really moved at all. That is the problem. And the chart, definitely looks stink right now. It's kind of like break down below this like symmetrical triangle right now. But it could bounce. I don't know. But I already got rid of my Ethereum Classics like about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then I use it for something else because there's no point in just like having it and see this thing continue to like retrace. It's I can always buy it back once it stopped bouncing. Johnny, the problem, it could be the case. The only problem I see is like right now you have all those projects like the blockchain project like AVAX, Polkadot, Solana, all those guys are getting all the attention. Seriously, think of this way here. How many like news or Twitter, you go to Twitter, how many tweets you seeing about Ethereum Classic? That's the problem. That Cellular Network, if Bitcoin continue to stabilize, I mean, we could see Cellular bounce up by about like 15-20% tomorrow. It is looking very strong. I mean, continue to trade over this 50 days moving average. Jeff Jones, you are late. I'm about to sign off here. Um, let's see. Yeah, Anchor is starting to move up as well. Cardano, I think Cardano is going to be it's getting very close to the support of this upward channel right now. And I mean, like before, I think we're going to see a major bounce after that to this point here. So with Cardano, I mean, just hang tight. Terry, you're exactly right. Too many options now, which is why all the projects like Doge and ADA are being quiet and trading at low value. Well, with ADA, one thing we have to remember is like ADA just spiked up around like the middle of June. No, the middle of July. Spike up from $1 to $3. It is retracing. I mean, consolidate. And if you look at this chart here, it's ADA is still in this upward trend, trading in this upward channel. It's just like what's happened is like for 2 months, we see the price retrace from $3 down to about $1.80 right now. Then we kind of like, oh, this thing is no good. But it's not, that is not the case. It just has to go through this. I mean, we've seen this cycle here. I mean, never know. A week from now, ADA would be spiking up, and we all would forget about the fact that it was like boring like this. So yeah, Solana is very strong too. I mean, every time when you see the price drop 180, I should get back in at like 180 some. I didn't. I get greedy. I was thinking that it may drop even further, and now I just have to sit and wait. Maybe I'm going to put all this money into Mana or Cellular Network. But anyway, guys, I am going to call it a night, and I'll be back online again on Monday. I'll try to do that every Monday from now on at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So hopefully I will see everybody again next Monday. Have a good night, everybody.